We are having another timestamp. So we are recording this at just gone past 7 o'clock on Friday, May the 1st, 2026. And we're going to talk about expansion again. So I feel like until we get concrete news about expansion, any episodes we do on expansion, I feel like we've got to go all newscast for you guys and give you like the actual timestamp of when we're doing the episode. Just in case this gets published and, oh, it's already happened. Yeah, but we are still stuck in purgatory when it comes to expansion news. They are really pushing it this time. They are really pushing it this time. We have gone past the deadlines of last year's announcements. So, it's just, they really are pushing this. They really are pushing it. It's not just us fans that are being kept in the dark. The league as a whole are being kept in the dark. Players are being kept in the dark. General managers are being kept in the dark. We've got no clue what's going on right now. Which just made me interested to think of, what would happen if we followed other sports leagues' routes of doing expansion. Like the WNBA. Now, the WNBA, in case you are not familiar with it, is a professional basketball league for women. Okay, I'm not really into basketball. No, not really into basketball. But obviously, I'm aware that the WNBA exists. We have had a few WNBA appearances on the broadcast, particularly this year, because obviously Toronto has got a brand new team, the Toronto Tempo. Yeah, the Toronto Tempo. We've had some of them come on the broadcast in TO games at Chicago Calgary, which is really exciting. So the reason I bring up the WNBA is because WNBA has had a very interesting route when it comes to announcing expansion. In fact, just recently, the WNBA announced a 3-team expansion, which is going to take them from currently 15 in 2026 to 18 by 2030. So by the time we get to the next Winter Olympics. Yeah, so there's 3 new teams coming, and they've already added like another 3 in these last 2 years. Because last year you had the Golden State Valkyries added, which play in San Fran, and then this year you've got teams in Toronto, the Toronto Tempo, who'll be at Chicago Coliseum, and you've also got the Portland Fire. Those 2 teams have just joined this year. They've just very recently had the expansion draft. That's all sorted. WNBA season actually begins this time next week. So if you are interested in WNBA, then your season's starting next week. I've learned a little bit more about the WNBA these last few weeks because thanks to Harry Knight being on a WNBA podcast. Do I dare say it? Do I dare say what the podcast was? Because the hosts are a little bit of a turmoil right now. Is that show even going to carry on anymore? Yeah. Just say it, Joe. I'll say it. Okay, I'll say it. Okay. It was the Right, here we go. Let me find it. Yeah, it was the A Touch More with Megan and Sue podcast. Yeah, awkward. No, let's not go there. Yeah, recently, I think it was not long after we got back from our trip, Harry Knight was on the podcast talking about the Olympics and so forth. So since then I've been basically, tuning in each week. Despite knowing nothing about basketball full stop. Never mind the WNBA. I do know Minnesota does have a WNBA team. It's called the Minnesota Lynx. So there you go. Go check that out if you want to. Yeah, but the WNBA just recently announced a big expansion plan for the future. Now they're going to be adding 3 new teams over the next few years. So, as I remind you, last year the Golden State Valkyries were added in San Francisco. This year you see Portland Fire and Toronto Tempo join the league. Then in 2028, Cleveland is going to enter the league. In 2029, Detroit will enter the league. So that's why we've also been with Detroit potentially being a PWHL expansion market, because there's only one arena. It's already got the NHL. It's already got the NBA. It's about to get the WNBA. Can you really afford to put 4 teams in one roof? Then in 2030, they'll be going to Philly. So and that will then take the league from its current 15 teams to 18 teams. So I kind of feel, should the PWHL be going down the WNBA route, whereas you announce the markets that you're going to have expansion, but you wait a few years before you add these teams into the fold. Because both Portland and Toronto were announced back in 2024. Yeah. Back in 2024, both Toronto and Portland were announced as expansion teams for the WNBA, but they did not join the league until this year. And as for the Valkyries, which I'll just look that up now. Yeah, just gonna look that up now. To see when they were announced. Good name, isn't it? What, Valkyries? An interesting one. I had a look at their logo actually. It looks very similar to the Big 12s. Yeah. Yeah, it looks very similar to what the Montreal Big 12 done. So, the Valkyries were announced back in the autumn of 2023. So we're seeing a pattern here. So what I say is, do we think the PWHL should go down the WNBA route and basically announce expansion markets, but you wait at least 2 to 3 years to bring them into the fold? Because obviously, right now, we are seeing issues with getting the teams for next year. I mean, we knew since September of last year that the league were like thinking, oh, let's expand again. And it was going to be between 2 to 4 teams. We all now believe it's going to be 4 teams. Yeah. We're all now believing the assumption it's going to be 4 teams. We just don't know where. Yeah. Okay. But I hate to break it to you guys, we are now in the thick of the World Cup playoffs. In June, we are expected to hold the entry draft, which is going to be the most generational class that we've seen for quite some time. And I just feel the longer we see radio silence, the longer we are kept dark, the less and less confident I am that we're going to see this 4-2 expansion happen in 2026, 27. I'm less confident by the day. By the day, I'm less confident. Which would be a shame, because I've been in favour of doing the 4-2 expansion just to basically rip the band-aid off. You make the most, you maximise this upcoming draft class in 2026. And then when you hit 12, That's it. We hold for a few years, let the talent pool build back up, and then expand again. Probably not after we negotiate the CBA. That's what my head is thinking of. Yeah. So, yeah, but I just feel less confident. It'd be a shame. So, it makes me wonder: should the PHL follow this route? I don't know, because I just think it allows some teams to have more time. It allows these organisations to have more time to get the house in order, get your assets built, sorted, sort out your branding, your name, your logo, where you're going to play and all that. Yeah. But, yes, Steve, can I just check in? The WNBA does not have the same league structure as the PHL. Right now, the PHL is all owned under one entity, the Mark Water Group. Whereas the WNBA, each team has their own ownership group. So that could be why the WNBA is in a better place to do this, because they are not all under the same entity and so forth. Okay, yeah. So I can see the point. Yeah, I can see that point. But whether you are a single entity or you are an ownership group, you could technically still do this either way. And I just think, particularly as there are quite a few markets that are in the running, who we just look at and think, no, you're not ready. Like Chicago. Johnny goes! That was like a 10-pin! You just no! Lady just did a strike! She just did a strike! It was like 10-pin! It's like 10-pin! Oh, it's been years since I've done 10-pin bowling. Years! What was the last time you can remember, Josh? Last time I can remember, Year 6 Libras due in 2009. Oh, yeah, I'm old. But but Lady in 10-pin terms, Lady just did a strike. Well, good girl, put that there. Good girl, she just did a strike. But can I make my point, dear? Exactly, can I make my point? Am I loud? Is that fine? Because as guys know, these two are my couple, so that's, yeah, there's a little bit of heterosexual dynamics going on here. Can I make my point? Go ahead. Right, go ahead. Right. We all know Chicago. Let her make a point! Or I'm going to get Naughty to sit on you. Okay? So, we all know Chicago on paper is a really good market. Yeah, because obviously you've got Allstate Arena, which only has the Chicago Walls of Talents. Yeah. So, you've got a brand new practice facility that just opened not too long ago. Yeah. So, and we wouldn't have to worry about working by the Blackhawks schedule. Yeah. On paper, they also have lots of women. They do lots of women's hockey programs as well. Yeah. On paper, Chicago seems like a good fit. And then the Takeover Tour dates rolled around, and yeah, well, just dreadful. I mean, that was shocking. So, while on paper, he's coming back up. He's going to the camera. Oh no! Brace ourselves now. Oh no! Brace it! Brace yourselves, Tommy! Let's just face it, Chicago. Your attendance on the Takeover Tour all equal to F. And was a low F. Yes, we guess that you don't like Chicago! It's personal! Like how for me, Vegas is personal. We get it, Fido. You don't want to go to Chicago. But if we want to land that massive national telly deal, which is really going to help boost our revenue in the next few years, then we kind of need to go to Chicago or LA. But San Diego's calling them a ruckus, so we must see about LA. But anyways, yeah. But Chicago is a market that's not really ready. But if you were to announce Chicago a team for 2026, but you don't begin play till say 2028, that gives you 2 full years to find a venue, build your product, and so forth. Same could be said for Calgary, because Calgary is another market that we think absolutely we would love to have in the league, especially with Calgary's rich women's hockey history. But the reason why I keep pouring is because it's like a really bad pun. Just make it, I don't. But the reason I keep pouring cold water on Calgary's hopes is because there's too many tenants currently in the Scotiabank Stardome. Now we know that in 2027-28 that the Flames will be moving to a brand new arena. What we don't know is will all the other Stardome tenants follow suit. And if that happens, then it's just we're back to square one. We're back to square one. Is there any way we could see Calgary land a team? There is, but it would be cruelty. But I'll say it anyway. I think the only possible way we can get a Calgary PHL team is if we basically say to the Wranglers, you've got to move out and go to a small arena. Because I have looked up what other arenas are in Calgary, and there's lots of quite small community ones, which just hold about roughly 2,000 people. Now, I don't know what the Wranglers attendance numbers are, but they haven't been that great since the Wranglers moved to Calgary, 4-5 years ago now? So, I think the Wranglers would be fine paying a community rink, and you just but yeah, so I have been doing my research, and unfortunately with Calgary there's no options that you could outside of the big arenas. So, I think that would be the only way. You basically say to Calgary, look, sorry, you say to the Wranglers, right, sorry, you're moving out. You've not provided the goods, you're moving out. You go to a smaller complex and just deal with it. Yeah. That'd be the only way. Yeah. But yeah, so Calgary could be another. Calgary could be another one. Take a breath. Yeah, tongue tied. Just got tongue tied there. Oh. Calgary is another one of those markets that could basically be, say, you award them a team in 2026, but you don't begin play until, say, 2028, because you've got to find an arena situation. So, yeah. So there you go. Those are two markets right there who are seen as front runners for PWHL Expansion. There are two markets right there that we think could benefit from a WNBA style. You announce them for in this kind of year, but they don't begin play until 2 years down the line. So the 28-29 season, that could be the ideal start. So you could easily, but it's still possible we could get expansion 26-27, but you maybe say you do 2 teams that are ready to go, so Detroit, Denver, and then you do 2 markets that aren't ready to go and say, well, we'll see you in 2028. I've just based it on the WNBA's timelines, because obviously the WNBA has basically had 2 years gap between the 2 most recent expansions, because the Valkyries were announced 2023, began play 2025, this time last year. The Temper and Fire announced 2024, beginning play 2026. And then Cleveland will follow, because they're the next to go, that will follow that pattern. So I think the WNBA have actually got the smart route, and we do see it in sports where you announce an expansion team 1 year, and then maybe the earliest they start playing say this time next season. That's how it works for the Garnites. Because you go for, because I can't remember the top. Yeah, okay. So the Garnites were officially announced in the summer of 2016. But they did not begin play until the following autumn, so it's autumn 2017. Then obviously the Kraken were announced in 2018. December 2018, and didn't begin play until 2020. Or was it 21, 22? Yeah, they originally wanted 2021. Yeah, originally in the bid, the Kraken were banking on getting 2020-21. They wanted 2020-21, and then at the time it got announced back in 2018. So this was way before COVID. This was way before COVID. In 2018, it was announced by the league, no, you're going to be playing 21-22. But the difference between Vegas and Seattle is Vegas already had team up ready to go, whereas Seattle didn't have Client Pedri ready until 2021. Yeah. But hockey these days seems to be quick expansion. Yeah. It seems to be as soon as you're announced, that's it, you begin playing literally this time next season. Yeah. Whereas the WNBA, they're more business savvy in WNBA with this approach. Yeah. Because you award a city expansion team, you give them at least 2 years to build up essentially your franchise, build up your business, to get your operation in house, get your fires in order, your branding sorted, your team name and all that. Go for all the trademark, which can be a nightmare, as Utah found out last year. So I think this could be an interesting model. Yeah. The problem is that when it comes to hockey, we just want things done quick. Yeah, we as soon as we get something announced, we just want impairs like straight away. Like literally just straight away. So yeah, but it just felt now we are really pushing it. Yeah, I just it could still be, we could still get 4 teams next year, but they will not have names. Yeah, because it's too late in the game. But I actually, do you know what? I'm more in favour of the WNBA approach, but never having watched any basketball. How's that for you, boys and girls? Despite not watching any basketball, I'm looking in how this league does it, and then how our league does it. But you gotta remember, I initially didn't think we would be having these expansion talks so quick. We go back to the inaugural season. I kind of felt, I said to these during the time, I said to these during the time during the inaugural season, I said, I don't think we'll hear about expansion for at least 5 to 7 years. That's what I said. I stood, and at the time, I stood by that. I stood by it at the time, because I kind of felt, this is a brand new league. We literally only just launched on New Year's Day of 2024, right? Who does that, by the way, guys? Okay. So we literally only just launched on New Year's Day, so we're only about 2 months in, okay? And I kind of felt, maybe expansion will be maybe 5 years, 7 years down the line, because by that point, the league will be properly set up. All the teams, the over 16 will be viable, stable, working franchises, all 5. I did not expect expansion needs to start immediately after we finish the first season. But it has shown how quick the leagues grow. It shows how quick the interest is there. We know there are so many markets that are interested to line up, but I just wonder how this is going to work. I just think, because we know this league is bad at deadlines. We know this league, the PHL is bad at sticking to deadlines. We saw that obviously with the team names, because we were all put under the pressure that team names might be coming during the summer of 2024. That of course did not happen. Yeah, didn't we end the 2024 draft with basically saying the assumption is we'll get team names in the summer 2024 and then jerseys will come in the autumn? Yep. Well, technically the jerseys did still come in autumn. It was just more end autumn, November, rather than early autumn, so like say September. I think we were kind of hoping that maybe July, August would be name reveals, and then late September, being October, would have been jersey reveals. Of course, that did not happen at all. But I would be perfectly happy for the PHL to adopt the WNBA's way to do expansion, especially if you've got markets out there that, like Chicago, like Calgary, that on paper could be perfect, but right now they're just not ready. They're just not ready. I would say with Chicago, I'd give them no takeaway. Oh God, no! I didn't even finish the sentence. Oh God, no! No! I didn't even finish my sentence. No! What's that in terms of buying turns, George? I think that's the deadly 7-10 split right there. Oh God, no! I didn't even finish my sentence. With Chicago, I think they need another takeover tour game, to try and, it's like, It's like one more chance. It's like, we're gonna give you, like, oh yeah, we're gonna give you one more chance. As leader, I don't want to throw it out of this debate. Please, would you like to withdraw? Mr. Speaker, that man has misled the House! I'm this close to give it to naming him, and you'd be out. Because, like, seriously. Yeah. So markets like Chicago, like Calgary, that aren't ready right now, we could potentially look at awarding you teams, but you don't get to have them straight away. It'd be like 2 or 3 years down the line. I would stick to the 2-year mark. I think 2 years is fine. 2 years, I think, is plenty enough time in sports for you to develop your team, get your brand sorted out, get your house in order, go through your finances, sell opposites, set your business operations up. I think that would be enough time. If we have to do that this year, then so be it. I have no problem with getting 2 teams in this year and then 2 more teams next year, and then that would be when we'd hit the hold button. But if we do that but if we hit the hold button in 2028, wouldn't that then make it longer for the next expansion? Because if we get to hit the hold button in 26, 27, then you can then make that case in 2031 or 2032, you then do the next wave. If we have to wait until the summer of 2020 before we can hit that bottom, then it's going to make it even longer. Yeah, there is that risk. Yeah, there is that risk, but you have to think what is the best thing for the league. You've got to think what is the best thing for the league, and if that's the best thing to do for the league, then that is obviously what we have to do. So my preference is to rip the band-aid off and just put 4 in now. But if it has to be 2 this next year, 2 year after, then so be it. It wouldn't surprise me if Detroit and are the ones that get 26, 27, and then say maybe Calgary and Chicago gets 27, 28. I think that after we came back for the Czech George, you did post that. You were like saying, oh well, Detroit, Denmark, 26, 27, Chicago, Alberta, 27, 28. Yeah, because Alberta, you could go either Everton or Calgary. Yeah, but it's interesting. Yeah, so I think the WNBA got it right with their expansion model, and it makes it a lot more easier for teams to go about their first season, because there's better chance of them doing well. Because it's so hard for expansion team to come into the league and try and get yourself established. As we've seen, obviously with both Vancouver and Seattle this year, Peter, it's been quite a tricky year for them despite everything on paper. Yeah. But yeah, we'll see what happens. What happens. Hopefully we get expansion news soon. Hopefully. It's just, my fear is that they're going to wait till after playoffs, which is probably not the right thing to do, but, the last thing you want right now is a distraction to the World Cup playoffs. This is why, during the last 2 weeks of the regular season, I've been definitely trying to say, can you give us news now? Because when we go to World Cup playoffs, our focus has to be on the World Cup playoffs. We don't want to have to come back up here and do episode or expansion announcement. I mean, we will if that's the case, but we'd rather focus on the World Cup playoffs. That should be where our focus is right now. But we can't control the news cycle, unfortunately. We can't do that. We're not Kathy Newman. What is up with that new show? I was on Sky. I know. It's just I've been watching all weekend Bears side of thing. It's like, it doesn't seem right. I had no idea she left Channel 4. When did that happen? I know. When did that happen? When did that happen? Christian, is it only just Christian left now on Channel 4 News? Of the Star Wars. Yeah. When did that happen? Anyway. So I do fear we're not going to have expansion news till after the World Cup playoffs. But I could get proven wrong. I mean, we do get awards news announced during the playoffs, but that's not too big of a distraction. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. But so Yeah, so WNBA season will begin next weekend, May 8th. And that runs until September. So they are May, September. So that's, if you're bored during the summer, you can go and check that out. It's not until your summer sport. No, ball season is right around the corner. Opening day for that is May 19. Got a title defend, guys. Got a title defend. Yeah, so. But the Pie goes real quickly. It goes real quickly. So it's not really much help during the summer months because that just goes by very quickly, and then you're stuck with like October and not what to do. Anyway, but if you are interested in the WNBA, go and check that out for yourselves. Yeah, but I thought it was really interesting because obviously the WNBA is like the PHL is also experiencing huge growth. Yeah. I mean, the WNBA has been around long. I think the WNBA has been around for at least 30 years, or almost 30 years. Should we look it up? Yeah. Just like a last thing to do before we go. Yeah. Should we just look real quick? Yeah. Oh, so the WNBA was founded in 1996, so 30 years ago. And their first season was 1997. And that took place from June to August. Woo, that was a very short season. Only 26 games played, and they only had 8 teams at the time. Was that the links. I'll just look it up. The Lynx were founded in 1998. Oh, so not long after the WNBA got going. So, yeah. So the WNBA's been around for 30 years now, whereas the PHL is only year 3, soon to be year 4. But both of those leagues are growing at real, like, fast pace. So I'm not surprised to see expansions happening so quickly. It's just I think the WNBA, even though I know nothing about it, I think they're handling expansion a lot better than the PWHL is. But the hockey environment is completely different to the basketball environment. Yeah. You know, the hockey environment, we like things fast. So we always have, we always will. Yeah. But I think for a league like the PHL, which is growing at an accelerated rate, and a league that we want to see make the right moves, because I've been saying since year 1, when it comes to expansion, I don't want any market, I want the right market. So if we have to take the time to find those right markets, fine. If we have to wait for a few years after being announced as being markets in the league, fine. Just make sure that when you're choosing a market, you're choosing the right market you believe is going to be able to have long-term success for the years to come. Yeah. Agree. Yeah. Okay, so is there anything else you want to add there, or shall we? Nothing. It's a good concept you have there, kiddo. Real good concept. Yeah, I just felt something over expansion news now taking the piss in our league. And with the WNBA, it's been going quite well. I thought it was a good idea to maybe to think of. Maybe a few moves for them to follow up on. But, yeah. So thank you as always, guys. Until next time, take care and don't forget to pull the breeze.